myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Diffuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take a few to lose. Built the win, applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I built the win, applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back for another episode this week. And today we're going to talk about week 7. Week 7 starts in about 54 minutes. So can't wait to talk about that. But before I do that, I would like to ask that you like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel, help the network. It helps my channel, CTC, by way of the Refuse to Lose Network. Now, like I said, this is a network, so we do have shows. We have the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave. Caused a little controversy, not even a little, caused a lot of controversy last night. It definitely did. So make sure y'all tune into that. We have Unfazed every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. So that's featuring Joe and AJ. Make sure y'all tune into that. Like I said, they got a live pick 'em, but they not picking, just pick 'em like me. They picking against the spread, which is, hey man, shout out to them for that. Next, we have BWT, man. Baseball with Teddy. Heartbreak Hotel for your boy last night. 15 innings and a loss. Schoolball had a masterclass. One of the best games I didn't ever seen for a pitcher. 13 strikeouts. 6 innings. No walks. 7 straight strikeouts, which is the MLB postseason record. And we lose because we can't hit to save our lives, man. Sad day for the Tigers, man. Season's over. All I'm going to say is blank check. Get it done. Whatever Schoolball wants, get it done. Because, man, that man's incredible. But we move on. We have FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. Week 7 in NFL starts. No, week 6, in the NFL. Continues tomorrow morning, 9:30 with Jets Broncos. Next, we got RBO, Real Ballers Only, featuring Vaughn. Basketball, NBA show. Dave's Doghouse, highlights and lowlights of sport. We got the Joe Jordan Show going live after Sunday Night Football tomorrow. So make sure y'all tune into him. And we got Indie Red Corner highlights. Indie Red Corner is a boxing episode. Or boxing show, going on every other Sunday. So make sure y'all tune in to them. That's featuring Ty, Ricky, and Tomo. And that's all the shows we have on the network. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to those shows as well. And if you like what you're listening to, stick with us. Now, I do got to explain the graphic just real quick. My pick'em record is, 57-31, but the 2-0 is for week 7, which is last night. I picked 2 games on CTC yesterday. Friday Night Lights. Both teams won. South Florida and Washington. So that's where the 2-0 is for. It's for week 7, not week 5. I think week 5 was one of my can't remember. Anyway, so let's get into it. But before we do that, shout out my brother. He says week 7, let's go. And then my boy Ace. Shout out my boy Ace, always on the show. Good plays last night. Appreciate you, my boy. Y'all went against me last night, though, bruh. I was like, dang, why y'all gotta go against me? But it was before my show, so respect. Let's see here. Oh, we're gonna start off with Ohio State at Illinois. Now, Ohio State comes into this as 14.5-point road favorites against an Illinois team who's only lost one game, and that was an utter blowout fashion in Indiana. But let's get started. And if you're new here, I do 5 keys for each team to win the game. And then once I do that, I pick a winner and explain why. I always start with the road team. So we're going to start with Ohio State. Ohio State has to pressure Luke Allmeyer. If you pressure Luke Allmeyer, you may force him to throw some turnovers, incompletions, rushing the football, things like that. So you got to pressure Luke Allmeyer, establish the run, because that was big for Indiana against Illinois. Also, taking away the run was big. Get the ball to Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. Again, 2 great receivers. Carnell Tate had a day last week, went off. Force turnovers, because that was big in the loss against Indiana. And find Hank Beatty. Hank Beatty's their guy in the receiving game. So got to find where he is at all times. Now, if you're Illinois, you got to force some turnovers, get the home crowd involved, get extra possessions. You got to force some turnovers. You got to get off the field on third downs. You cannot allow Julian Sayin and this Ohio State offense to sustain long touchdown drives. You got to get off the field when you can. Also, I did see that Xavier Scott may be back today. I think I saw probable or questionable. Get Hank Beatty the ball. Enough said. Force third and longs. But when even enforcing those third and longs, like I said, man, you seen Jeremiah Smith take a drag to the crib against Washington. So you still got to watch out for those things of that nature. And Luke Allmeyer got to protect the football. You got to protect the football. Cannot give Ohio State with these excellent receivers extra possessions. But my winner in this one is what y'all saw me write down before the show. I got Ohio State. I know I saw something where Ohio State kind of loses to Illinois in these types of matchups. But I just think this Ohio State defense is just too elite. It is too elite. And I think that Illinois doesn't put up a lot of points against this Ohio State defense. Now, I do think Illinois keeps it close. I don't think it's like a 1-possession game, maybe a 2-possession game. But I think this Ohio State defense is just super elite. Illinois defense is really good as well, especially if Xavier Scott can make the return. They are down a couple players due to injury. But I just like this Ohio State team, man. Offensively, though, it is shaky. But as long as you got Jeremiah Smith, you can make things happen, and Carnell Tate. So give me Ohio State to win this one. I don't know about easy W, bro. This might be a fight. This might be a little fight. I say that. Next, we have Alabama at Missouri, 12 o'clock on ABC. This is an exciting matchup, in my opinion. Now, if you're Bama, you got to tackle Ahmad Hardy. And I say that because he's like leading the country in like broken tackles and stuff like that. So he's a tough guy to bring down. His yards after contact is really what good. He's a tough runner. Contain Bo Perbula legs. He's been making plays. Bo Perbula has been balling. I've pitched this idea on my show multiple times. Maybe Penn State got rid of the wrong quarterback. That's how well Bo Perbula has been playing. Get off the field on third downs if you're Bama. You don't want Mizzou at home to keep going, keep scoring touchdowns, or, keep sustaining drives. Establish Jaron Miller. I think he's going to be really big for the Alabama offense this week. And you got to get the ball to Jeremy Bernard. And I did see Ryan Williams was questionable, I think, with the ankle or something like that. Not sure. If Ryan Williams is playing, I've been saying it the past few weeks, got to get out of his head. He dropped another pass, I believe, last week against Vanderbilt. You got to get out your head, man. I feel like he's in his head for some reason. Now, for Mizzou, they got to run the ball, and that's what Ahmad Hardy and Bo Perbula got to run the ball. Why? Because Alabama's run defense isn't that good. You got to be able to establish the run against Bama. Get the ball to, pressure Ty Simpson. Even though I think Ty Simpson's been playing really well, you still got to put pressure on him, make him find guys, maybe throw the ball away, things like that. Get the ball to Kevin Coleman and possibly Marquise Johnson. I didn't see anything that say he wouldn't play, so I just put him in there. Bo Perbula has to use his legs, and they got to force turnovers. You're at home. You want to get the crowd involved. You want that home crowd advantage. You want those extra possessions. You got to force turnovers. Vanderbilt didn't really force turnovers. They gave them turnovers. You force them. That'd be big. But my winner, I'm going with the upset. I'm taking Mizzou at home. Why? because they can run the football. Bama has a tough time stopping the run. So I am going to take Mizzou at home. I think Bo Prabula has a day on the ground as well. Ahmad Hardy possibly goes for 2 touchdowns. I think Bama keeps it close because that's how good Bama is. Especially they've been kind of starting off hot. Now last week they didn't really start off hot, but then they ended off hot. But Georgia they started hot, But I'm taking Missouri, man. I think Missouri is just a really well put together team. Offensively, they are really explosive, and like I said, they can run the ball, which is one of Alabama's flaws if they had one. So, give me Mizzou. Next. It's my boys, man. The Fighting Signettis. We got Indiana at Oregon. 7th ranked Indiana at 3rd ranked Oregon. This game is 3:30 on CBS. This should be a good one for Indiana. Mendoza has to use his legs. He's not necessarily like a super athletic quarterback, but he's a guy that can run the ball. He has to use his legs. Get Roman Hemby open lanes to use his speed and open space. So basically, whether it's like some swing passes, screens, running the ball. Just got to open holes so Roman Hemby can take advantage of his speed and open space. Get the ball to Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper Jr. Elijah Surratt, man, just one of the better receivers in college football. To me, he's a route runner, technician. So got to get Elijah Surratt the ball. Pressure Dante Moore and get off the field on 3rd downs. Now, D'Angelo Ponce is also questionable from what I saw, which is big. If he's not playing, that's a huge loss for Indiana. Now, if you're Oregon, pressure Mendoza, you got to establish the run. Because, like I said, Illinois could not establish the run against Indiana, and that's why they got blown out. You got to establish the run. You got to get the ball to Decorian Moore. You got to strike first, in my opinion, at Alton Stadium. You know, Oregon's a huge home crowd advantage. They strike first. They get that crowd going. Ooh, it's tough for Indiana. And that environment, offense to hear play calls and stuff like that. That's going to be big. But my winner is Oregon. I normally don't bet against Indiana. I don't. But Oregon is tough to beat. And Oregon, honestly, is a team that could potentially contend for a national title as we speak. Just as we speak. Indiana, really good team. They are. But I don't know if Oregon start hanging points on the board, how Indiana responds. So, and Oregon's a really solid defense, too. And we've seen Indiana struggle with Iowa on the road. I know I say Signetti only lost 2 games, and that was the 2 teams that competed for the national championship. I think it's the one game at the moment that he loses that didn't compete for a national title. And that could change. Like I said, Oregon could contend. This could end up being Indiana's loss to a team that who's playing for a natty. So we'll see. But I'm taking Oregon in this one. Hurts. But I'm going to take Oregon. Next, we got the Red River rivalry. And I saw that John Mateer is pushing to play in this game, which is crazy. He was supposed to be out 3 to 4 weeks. He's out the bye week, out Kent State week. They said he's pushing to play. So just be on the lookout for that. But Oklahoma comes into this Red River rivalry. Oh, excuse me. No, that's right. Texas. Oklahoma, I think, was favored last night, but now Texas is favored by 1.5 in this Red River rivalry in Dallas. And Texas is technically the home team, but like I said, it's in Dallas. This game is 3:30 on ABC. Now, my first note is if Michael Hawkins is playing, you got to get him some easy throws just to get him settled in. I mean, he's a runner. He wants to run, but, obviously, you got to pass the ball. You got to keep the defense, you can't just run all game. So, you got to get him some easy throws to get him going, get him settled in. Pressure Arch Manning, who's been very lackluster this year. Force 3rd and longs because Texas has not really converted 3rd downs at a high rate. Stop the run and get Deion Burks the ball. He's your explosive playmaker. Get him the ball. Now, if you're Texas, defense might got to score, man. Defense might got to find a way to score a touchdown. It just is what it is. This offense has not been good. The defense has been stupendous, but they might got to find a way to score a touchdown. Have to contain the quarterback run. Now, I say quarterback run because at this point, I don't know if it's Hawkins or Mateer, but either way, both of them can run. So you got to contain the quarterback run. You got to block R. Mason Thomas. He is a problem on the edge, and he can wreck the game. So you got to, whether it's slide the line to his side, have a running back on his side, something has to happen to where you have him accounted for. Make this a low-scoring game. Oh yeah, because if Oklahoma is putting up points on the board, I don't think see Texas winning the shootout. And you got to establish the run. You got to establish the run against this team. But my winner is Oklahoma. Why? Again, because Texas offense is very lackluster. That is why I'm going with Oklahoma. And Oklahoma has a really good defense in itself. So I think they hold Texas to maybe under 20. That's if the defense of Texas don't find a way to score. And Oklahoma gets it done, and they win the Red River rivalry after losing they won 2 years ago with Dillon. So after losing last year. So I'm taking Oklahoma in this one. Next. I know this fan base didn't think I'd be talking about them this much. I didn't think I'd be talking about them this much. But we got Nebraska, 6.5-point road favorites at Maryland. Maryland played a road game yet? Like, God. I'm obviously exaggerating. They played one. They played Wisconsin. But, like, I mean, golly, it's week 7. They played one road game? Dang. Nebraska comes in this one, like I said, 6.5-point road favorites against Maryland on Big Ten Network. For Nebraska, you want to pressure Malik Washington. He's been the catalyst for this team, obviously, as a quarterback. You got to put pressure on him. Establish Emmett Johnson. Establish the run. Get Ja'Cory Barney the ball in open space. He's explosive. He's a playmaker. Got to get him the ball. If down early, hold your head high because this team blew a 20-0 lead late in the third last week. So if you do find yourself down, just remember, it's possible to come back against these boys. Enforce turnovers because you're on the road. You want to get the crowd out of it. You want some extra possessions. You got to force some turnovers. Now, if you're Maryland, you got to establish a run. You can't be pass heavy against Nebraska because they got them guys on that front four. They're going to be coming after you. You got to establish some type of run. You can't allow the Nebraska front to pin their ears back. Get the ball to Octavian Smith and Jaleel Farouk. Offense has to stay ahead of schedule. I don't think that you want to be in long situations against this Nebraska defense. Contain Emmett Johnson, and your foot has to stay on the gas. You can't, if you go up, can't take your foot off the gas. We saw what happened last week. But my winner is Nebraska. I'm taking Nebraska. Why? Emmett Johnson in the run game, and I think Raiola, man. I'm a fan of Raiola. I know a lot of people dislike him because of his antics and what he does and trying to be like Mahomes. I don't care about that, man. Are you winning football games or you not? Nebraska's winning football games. They're a really good team, and I think they'll make this a black and blue game, which is the game that Nebraska wants to play, and I think they'll win because of that. So give me Nebraska to win this ball game. Now we're going to some night games, and we're going to start with Georgia, 10th ranked Georgia at Auburn, 7:30 on ABC. Now Georgia comes into this one as 3.5-point road favorites. Georgia. Got to stop the run. That is Auburn's bread and butter. Whether it's Jackson Arnold running, Jeremiah Cobb running, they want to run the football. They got guys on the outside to pass the ball to, but they want to run the ball. Establish the run of your own, whether it's Chauncey Bowens, Josh McCray in short situations, Nate Frazier. You got to establish the run. Have to start off faster. Again, Georgia's issue is they start so slow. They started slow against Bama. They started slow against Tennessee. They start slow. Get Zachariah Branch the ball in open space and force 3rd and longs because Auburn isn't a team that likes to air it out. So 3rd and longs is a kryptonite of this Auburn offense. Now, if you're Auburn, establish Jeremiah Cobb. You want to stop the run if you're Georgia. Make Gunnar Stockton become a passer. Jackson Arnold has to use his legs because that's key in Auburn's offense. But beyond that, they got to protect Jackson Arnold. Auburn is giving up 15 sacks in the last 2 games. They gave up 10 against Oklahoma, and they gave up 5 against Texas A&M. Got to do a better job in protecting your quarterback. Now, some are on Jackson Arnold. I'm not saying all 15 are not on Jackson Arnold, but a lot of them are not on Jackson Arnold. So you got to protect your quarterback and force turnovers because you're at home. You want that home crowd involved, and you want to have shorter fields so you can run the ball and possibly get points. But my winner is Georgia. Why? Because Auburn is too one-dimensional. They run the ball. If you take away from the run from Auburn, the offense becomes so stagnant. Even if Georgia starts slow, which I don't think they will. Offense is stagnant, and I think the Georgia front can get to Jackson Arnold. So I'm going to take Georgia in this one. I think they make Jackson Arnold day a living hell, and they get the dub. Next, we got the Scrubs in Ann Arbor, Michigan, 15th ranked Michigan at USC. Game is 7:30 on NBC. I wish they gave them like an 11 o'clock game like they gave us, but I digress. Michigan, they got to pass the ball better. Whether it's finding Donovan Cully Moore, maybe Samaj James Moore, that the passing game for Michigan just isn't what I would assume Michigan fans thought it would be. It's very inefficient. It's not good right now. So Michigan has to pass the ball better. Justice Haynes, he normally breaks the long run. I think he's going to need it this week. Think they're going to need. He might need it a couple times this week because this USC offense is so explosive. But this defense does give up big plays a ton. So I think Justice Haynes is going to have to break a long run multiple times. They're going to have to stop the run of Eli Sanders. They're possibly going to have to force turnovers out of Jaden Maeva. And they got to I think they got to like shift the defense or have the defense kind of key in on Mekhi Lemon. He's their best receiver. He's a playmaker. I mean, contested catches, just making plays on open field. He's a dog. Now, if you're USC, you got to run the scoreboard up. You got to score. Why? Because I don't think Michigan's offense is tailored to put up a bunch of points. So if you're out there scoring like you did against Illinois, scoring like you did against Michigan State, scoring a whole ton of points, it'll be tough for Michigan to not, I won't say to stay in this game, but to win this game. Pressure Bryce Underwood. You want to force third and longs to have Bryce Underwood having to throw the ball down the field because, again, this pass game has not been efficient if you're Michigan. Establish Eli Sanders, who's a speedy back, and get Mekhi Lemon the football. But my winner, going USC. Why? One, the travel. That's a factor. I feel like that was a factor in Penn State, UCLA last week as well. Two, the offense, man. Michigan's offense is what scares me. Now, their defense is stupendous. Again, Michigan's defense for the past couple of years has been on point. Nothing really changed this year. It's just that offense that will worry me if I'm a Michigan fan. And for that reason, I'm taking USC. Excuse me. Next, we got South Carolina at LSU. South Carolina comes into this. LSU comes into this one as 8.5-point home favorites. This game is 7:45 on SEC Network. Now, South Carolina had a bye week last week. I believe LSU did too, if I'm not mistaken. LSU did too. So both teams coming off a bye week. South Carolina, your defense has to get off the field on third downs. It's been abysmal on third downs. Got to get off the field. You got to be able to establish Lenore Sellers. He was big in the game last year before he got hurt. Got to find a way to establish the run with Rasul Faison and Oscar Adaway. Get Nick Hart with a football. I think he's going to be big in this one. And pressure Garrett Nussmeier because this offense has not looked like everybody thought it would in the offseason, including myself. This offense has been very lackluster as well. Now, if you're LSU, Caden Durham is expected back today. So you got to establish the run because against Ole Miss, Caden Durham was surely missed, which I figured would be the case. They only had 59 yards of rushing. This game, the offense has to click. This is the game where LSU offense has to find it. This has to be like the turning point game for that LSU offense because South Carolina defense is not good. So this has to be the game where they just go crazy. Contain Lenore Sellers' legs, force turnovers, and force third and longs. Now, I say that because this LSU defense is elite. It's funny because LSU with Jaden Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier last year, and Joe Burrow. Well, I say with Joe Burrow, that was more complete, and that's why they won the Natty. But with Jaden Daniels, they either had offense, no defense, and now they got defense, no offense. So it's like crazy. And the offense on paper supposed to be crazy. But my winner is LSU, man. I love my boys to death, but I think LSU wins. Why? Because on third downs, we can't get off the field. It's so annoying to watch. So I think LSU takes advantage of that. They move the ball down the field on third, and they convert third downs at a high rate this week. South Carolina, we're going against that elite defense that LSU has. I think they stifle our offense for the most part. I think LSU wins the ball game. I'll be very surprised if South Carolina pulls this one out. Next, and we got two more left. We have BYU at 15th ranked BYU at Arizona. This game is 8 o'clock on ESPN2. BYU comes into this one as 2.5-point road favorites, which I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of shocked that the line was that low. But BYU, you got to establish LJ Martin. He's been your best back this year. He's a powerful runner who got speed as well. He's a balanced back. I say it every week, man. Get Chase Roberts the football. Whatever you need him to do at receiver, he can do it. And it's crazy to me because I was watching the game with my brother last week when they played West Virginia. I was like, man, Chase Roberts is a guy that's probably going to deserve to get drafted, and he won't. And I compared it to like Well, Puka actually got drafted. He got drafted in the 5th round. But I compared it like Puka. Puka was a dog. But he got drafted in the 5th round because at BYU. So I think Chase Roberts is the receiver that deserves to be drafted. But I think he's going to be an undrafted free agent. And he makes a team that way, which sucks. Get Parker Kingston involved in open space. I say this all the time too, man. Parker Kingston is probably the fastest receiver. He makes plays in open space, and you saw it last week against West Virginia. You got him the ball in open space, and he made plays. Let's see, I'm about to lose my spot. No, my lie. Contain no fighter or Fafita. I'm sorry, I butchered your name a ton. And 4 starting longs. Now, if you're Arizona, you got to find a way to hang around. This team is well coached. I'm talking about BYU. They're well coached. You got to find a way to hang around because if you don't, BYU is just going to blow you out. Strike first, which is tough to do against this BYU team, but you got to find a way to strike first at home. Contain Bear Bachmeier's legs. You know that boy run like a linebacker at quarterback. Stop the run, and you got to find a way to establish Ishmael Mahdi, the guy running back from Texas State transfer. He did tremendous things at Texas State. You got to find a way to establish him. But my one is BYU, and I said it like 5 seconds ago because of how well coached they are. They are so well coached. They barely slip up. They barely make mistakes. Now, granted, Bear Bachmeier threw his first pick last week. But beyond that, they're so well coached. It's so hard to get undisciplined football out of BYU. While Arizona, while they are a tough team, they'll make mistakes. Like the K-State game, they started off super sloppy. They found a way to win that. But I don't see, if you start off sloppy against BYU, I don't see them losing this game. So I'm rolling with BYU in this one. And the last game I got for y'all, I decided to add it in. I wasn't going to talk about it at first due to Sam Levitt not playing. But I just threw it in there. I got 21st ranked Arizona State at Utah. Utah comes into this game as 9.5-point favorites at 10-15 on ESPN. Again, due to Sam Levitt being out. So, in steps Jeff Sims. And if you know me, you know how I feel about Jeff Sims. A turnover is imminent. You just got to capitalize. So, if you're Arizona State, you got to hope that Jeff Sims plays mistake-free football. You got to lean on Jordan Tyson. He is the guy. So, you got to lean on your guy. Protect the football. Again, protect the football, Jeff Sims. You got to find a way to establish Raleek Brown. Raleek Brown, in my opinion, is still running a lot of east to west. You got to go north and south, bro. I get going east and west at times. You got to run north and south for Raleek. And contain Devin Dampier's legs, which is going to be a tough task for this Arizona State defense. Now, if you're Utah, score. You've been setting the world ablaze up until Texas Tech. Got to find ways to put points on the board against the Arizona State defense because they're not with Sam Levitt. They have Jeff Sims, so Jeff Sims can run the ball probably more effectively than Sam Levitt. But again, he's turnover prone. Run Devin Dampier. 4 starting longs. You want Jeff Sims to throw the ball as much as possible. So 4 starting longs. Hey, turnovers are going to be presented. Got to capitalize. And you got to smother Jordan Tyson. Somebody else got to beat you. You can't beat Jordan Tyson. But my winner is Utah. Why? Because Jeff Sims is starting at quarterback. Plain and simple. I'm not going to say too much. That's pretty much it. Sam Levitt is out. Jeff Sims is in. Give me Utah. Now, that's the 10 games I got for y'all this week. Well, this Saturday. I'm still debating if I want to make a reel on UMass versus Kent State just because it's been so long since either one of them beat an FBS school. I think UMass's last FBS win might have been New Mexico State with Tyson Pumachan. And I can't even remember Kent State's last FBS win. Now, I'm not saying win because Kent State has an FCS win, FBS win. So I may make a short on that. Y'all be on the lookout. That game's at 2:30. So if y'all don't see anything by 1:30, I'm probably not doing it. But like I said, y'all enjoy y'all college football Saturdays. Good luck to your teams. Unless you're a Michigan fan, then I don't mean it. And that's all I got for y'all today. I might be back tomorrow. It depends on how that NFL game is going. If that game sucks tomorrow, then I still might come back in between Sunday Night Football and, Football Night in America, but we'll see. But I'm gone. Oh, and if you're a degenerate like me, good luck on your parlays. But I'm gone. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, And also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.